Allah SWT said, do you have doubt in Allah, the creator, the originator of the heavens and the earth? What is the biggest truth is Allah SWT, because He is the one who created everything. Everything is created by Allah. Even this water we drink every day, and without this we cannot believe. And this water is created by Allah SWT. The oxygen, the hydrogen, which is part of this water, is created by Allah. And Allah make it for us to be our life. Because Allah said, وَجَعَلَّ مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ فَلَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. And from water He bring out every living creature. Believe. The people who are, those who are like saying that they don't believe in God, and some people are trying to make some argument with them. I don't think so. Because when you say that this creation has no creator and it's all made itself, then it is like funny, it's like nonsense. If you see a big building and if somebody is outside the building and you say this building was not created by anyone, and what you call this person? You're crazy. You're nonsense. How this building was made? Who is the architect? Who is the make the design? Who is the make the structure? Who is the make the plan? How many labor work? How many mason work? How many construction workers were there? No one is going to listen to this crazy nonsense person who is saying that this building was made by itself. Or if you see an airplane and somebody say, no engineer was made this airplane, no one was made this plane. So these people, you don't need to make argument, investing your time, because their mind is insane. When we see the huge creation, the great creation, and which is perfectly controlled by a creator, like the sun and the moon and the planets and the galaxies and the stars, and everything is perfect. The dog comes out the dog, and the cat comes out the cat, and the human being born the human being. Okay, the apple tree is coming the apple, and the orange tree comes the orange tree. So who control this all? There is someone who control this all. Without someone control, it's not possible. And everything is perfect. We have about trillions of cells in our body, and every cell is like a big city. Every cell in our body is like a big city, because there are machineries there are refineries there are systems there, and every cell we have a DNA. For example, if a human being has a 100 trillion cells, so every cell has a DNA, and DNA has a codes, the information. How big information in one DNA? Which cannot be seen with the eyes. You need to go to the microscope, which can magnify it for thousands of millions times or hundreds of millions times. Then you can see in that DNA is information, the great information. Like a giant 1,000 encyclopedia information in one DNA. So who put this information in the DNA? Do you think it's all blind? It's nothing. It's just chance? No. It's all our planned creation. Okay? When there is a creation, there should be a creator. When there is a creation, there should be a creator. And now that they are trying to talk about evolution, that this was become this and this was become this. Even if this evolution was this existing, then they still need the evolver. And Allah is the evolver. But this is not the right evolution, which is not the right thing that God created. Allah created, God created the greater evolution. What's the evolution? The soil and the water become a human being. That's the greatest evolution. The soil and the water was transformed or evolved a human being from this. Not that from one animal to other animal and other animal to other animal, and then human being comes out. That was not happened. But the greater evolution was happened. And what was the greatest evolution? That the soil and the water made a statue, and Allah put the soul inside the statue, and it becomes Adam. It becomes a human being. So soil and water become a human being. That's something great evolution. And you can call it the great evolution, that the soil and water was evolved into a human being. So that is how Allah created us. And we can, until today, the Darwin theory was never proven. Because why? Even the 500 million old dragonfly fossils were found, and they checked it is 500 million old dragonfly, and today's dragonfly has the same, no changes. All the fossils for hundreds of millions of old fossils, and today's animals are all same. So it's already proven that the Darwin theory was forgery. It's a fraud. It's a deception. And there was no such evidence at all. There was no evidence at all, but just the posters and pictures made by those evolutionists. That's all. It was just a lie. Rather, the theory of the Qur'an that the God made the man from the water and the soil and the water, that can be proven in every laboratory of the world. For example, what is the content of the water and the soil? Mix the soil with water, mix the water with soil, make a mixture, get on the slide some of this soil with water, put on the microscope and watch it. And now you make the result. How many percent of hydrogen, how many percent of carbon, how many percent of iron, how many percent of lithium, helium, potassium, sodium. Write it down, silicon, and make the list how many percentage. Hydrogen, how many percent. Carbon, hydrogen, how many percent. Oxygen, how many percent. And then make the list and keep it on one side. And then look at the human being contents. What are the content of human being? How many percent of hydrogen? How many percent of the oxygen? How many percent of carbon? Silicon, iron, and put it there and compare it. The content of the soil and water is exactly the content of a human being. Nothing. We are made from the soil and water, and when the soul came out by the command of Allah, and this body will put back in the soil and it becomes soil again. That's how we are. Allah made us from the soil. And that's what Allah said. And that's where we can prove it scientifically. But the Darwin theory was a false theory, never proven. And right now there are thousands of scientists who are disproving and rejecting the Darwin theory. And which has been teaching in some Muslim countries. Falsely, nonsensely. So we need to be educated and to learn and to have a knowledge about Allah. This great creation, when you see a small house, you cannot believe that no one made it. How about this great universe? What is the size of the universe? You travel in the universe for 100 billion years with the speed of the light, 300,000 kilometers per second. And you need to travel 100 billion years if you go in the diameter in this way. But if you make circumference, the circular, you need to travel for 150 billion years with the speed of the light, 300,000 kilometers per second. Look at the creation, the sea, the ocean, the fly, the birds, the eagle, the cow. Look at the cow. Allah mentioned in the Qur'an, the first chapter, opening, Surah Al-Fatiha, the next chapter, Al-Bakara. What is the meaning of Al-Bakara, the cow? Why Allah mentioned the initial opening the Qur'an with, after the opening, Allah mentioned the name of the chapter is the Al-Bakara, the cow. Because the cow is the most beneficial creation beside human being, for the human being. You get the best meat, the best food from the cow, which is beef, number one, the best meal, the best food. You get the best drink from the cow, the milk. And the millions of tons of milk is provided by the cows. Allah provided us through the cows. And we are drinking it, making cheese and ice cream and yogurt and so many other desserts. Blessings of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said, the milk is the food, which is food, and which is a drink also. Milk is just not a drink, but it is also food. You can make cheese, you can make butter, you can make so many things with the milk. So best food you get from the cow, also the beef. The best drink you get is also from the cow, the milk. And the best clothes you get from the cow is leather. Leather is the best cloth in the world today. So Allah mentioned it, that how Allah give us the benefits with cow, and how the cow is giving sacrifice for the sake of Allah to become beneficial for us. And that's how we can also do to always to be beneficial for the mankind, not just for a nationality or not just for a community, but rather we should think above that, and we talk about the human nation, and we need to do good with all the human beings. May Allah guide us.